Hey guys, welcome to episode 13 of Studio Hours. Today I'd like to talk about one of my favorite authors, Neil Gaiman. Now, you may or may not know who he is. If you don't, I'll give you a little intro. He's an acclaimed fantasy writer who has authored Coraline, the Sandman series, American Gods, and more. None of that is really relevant to what I want to talk about today, but it does help to know a bit of his background. In May of 2012, Neil Gaiman gave the commencement address to Philadelphia's University of the Arts. You can still find the video of his speech on YouTube, and you can also find the text, beautifully designed and illustrated, in a book called Neil Gaiman's Make Good Art Speech. I have read this book about 20 times. Every time I read it, it gives me the chills. Here's a snippet to get my point across. When you start out on a career in the arts, you have no idea what you're doing. This is great. People who know what they are doing know the rules and know what is possible and impossible. You do not, and you should not. The rules on what is possible and impossible in the arts were made by people who had not tested the bounds of the possible by going beyond them, and you can. So I want to talk about how it feels to be an artist. Because as yarnpreneurs, we are artists. We're creators, makers, doers, artists, whatever you want to call yourself. We are making art. And I think sometimes we get caught up in the hustle of the business too much. I think sometimes we forget why we started in the first place, how it felt the first time we completed a design we were proud of, or how it felt to get the color we were looking for in the dye pot, or how it felt when we sold our first finished item. There always seems so much to do, keeping up with social media, always making new things, keeping up with everyone else, marketing and emails and messages. I want us to remember why. Those things are always going to be a part of our businesses, but the making, the doing, the creating, that's why we started in the first place. Those things will always bring us more excitement than anything else. Every time I get an idea for a new pattern, I do a little happy dance inside because it means I get another chance to make good art. And sometimes when the art is done, it isn't quite what I expected. Sometimes I love it, but when it's released, no one else does. But that's okay because I still enjoyed the process. I still made something and put myself out there, and I can do it again. And maybe next time it'll be a hit, and maybe it won't. Either way, it doesn't matter. And that's the heart of this book. No matter what happens, creators will always create. We will always feel driven to make good art. I'll leave you with the text on the back cover of the book. Husband runs off with a politician, make good art. Leg crushed and then eaten by a mutated boa constrictor, make good art. IRS on your trail, make good art. Cat exploded, make good art. See? Always. Make good art. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Share your thoughts in the group.